Hello friends, it's Chromatic Sauce and welcome to my YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be watching, I always want to say reacting, and I feel like I probably do have the time. We're going to be doing a tattoo talk through of the Iron Man part of my lower leg sleeve I've been working on that features the Hulk, Iron Man, Elsa, and Captain America. Now, as of now, I have the Hulk done. The background of the Hulk needs a little bit of work. Iron Man is what I'm filming today. But I also just did the Elsa one yesterday, so I'm filming the video for both of those today. So I'm super excited for the progress we're making, so you can kind of see the stages as we go. You can't really see the previous tattoos that well, but you can see a little bit of the progress, and I'm glad to be making progress on this a little bit more creative freedom tattoo, where he just sort of gave me the subject matter and I kind of did my own thing with it. So I'm really glad to get the chance to work on something like this. If anyone would like any pop culture, if anyone would like any other types of pop culture tattoos from me, definitely check out my website, chromaticsauce.com, and fill out a booking form, and then maybe we can book something. So definitely just let me know, especially if you want to be in a YouTube video. We can do a little fun tattoo and then, you know, have a good time. Anyway, I'm definitely having fun doing these like pop culture things, so definitely stay tuned for more. Come back for Elsa coming up. This is the lines and the black shading for Iron Man today, and we're gonna get into the color in the next video. Like I said, already got Elsa filmed. That's gonna be 2 videos plus the real length full-time footage. We got all of that coming. So definitely let me know if you'd like to see anything specific from me. If like in terms of videos, content in general. If you have any constructive criticism, I'm always open to hear any constructive criticism in terms of the YouTube videos, the tattoos. As long as we're building and growing and being positive, I'm down. And like usual, no hate to me, but especially not my clients. If you are trying to be all hate talking to my clients, I'm gonna delete that. I don't know what hate talking is. Anyway, let's just get on into the video. We're doing the lines and the black shading for Iron Man today in the same style as the Hulk from my previous videos, but let's get on into it. So when I had originally filmed the Hulk, I am a little scatterbrained. I can't really like sit down and do everything all at once. I do things in like bursts. So like when I had designed this like lower leg sleeve with the Hulk, part of the reason why we didn't do a background was because I hadn't fully fleshed out the design yet. I had a pretty good idea of what I wanted. So for that initial appointment, I was more laying out like, where do I want the characters to be? How are they going to lay on his leg? Because I can show you like a little clip of what I have, if I remember to edit it. I'm sure I will. I'm reminding you. But I have like a model that I was drawing on like in my Procreate, in Procreate. But the model's leg is like thinner than my client's leg. So just seeing how everything's fitting compared to what I drew, and like where the characters are really gonna lay on his leg. So whenever I did the Hulk, I don't know if I talked about this at all in the Hulk video. It's been a couple weeks since I filmed that. Also, sorry if you hear my mom is playing bass in the background, but I don't mind. So I hope you guys don't mind either. She's just having fun. Anyway. But yeah. So when I was doing the Hulk, like I said, I had a little bit less of a plan. Like my planning for that appointment was a little bit more layout in general. How is it fitting on his leg? Where do I want the characters? And I felt like the Hulk, first of all, I felt like the Hulk would be the easiest to do. I felt like, I don't know, my brain has to like wrap itself around things, and I have to like be fully like, it's not that I don't understand it, but like my brain has to be focused on something, and I felt like the Hulk was the best move for that day because I felt like Iron Man, Elsa, they had stuff, they were going to have stuff going on in the background of them for sure. The Hulk, I wasn't too sure yet, but I knew I was going to want him with his fist, you know what I mean? So I was like, I can do the Hulk today, and I've got my plan, my layout. I know I'm going to have room for whatever I want to do with these characters. I had it like halfway drawn out. I don't know if I have a picture of like that stage. But I made sure that I was going to have room for everyone, and so I just did the Hulk last time, kind of planning the background, but not having like as thought out of a design. Now, when we did the Iron Man, I fleshed out a little bit more of the background. There were still a few things that I wanted to work on more, like especially even still the Captain America. I want to change it a little bit, and even when we did Elsa today, you'll see whenever that video comes out. But even for Elsa, I changed up my design a little bit around her. But like Iron Man, he's like flying in the sky, there's lightning, he's shooting out his like laser or whatever he's shooting out. I'm not good with terminology. I'm not super hip on the things that people like, but I really wanted to do, you know, I really like that glowy effect, that like laser effect is cool. Like, you know, that's what Iron Man does. So obviously I had to do that pose for Iron Man. He's flying, he's kind of over top of everyone, so I felt like it made sense for him to be above. The Hulk maybe could have made sense lower because he's like bigger, heavier, like the visual weight artistically of someone who's bigger, lower could make sense, but just because the Cap is bigger at the top, the Hulk kind of had to be at the top so he could be a little more substantial than the rest. All the characters are going to be like basically the same size. The Hulk is just a smidge bigger, you know, he's the Hulk, like he's going to be a little beefier. But you don't really see all of the characters. You kind of see like each plane, you can kind of only see one and maybe a little bit of the other characters. So each character is going to have their own moment. So yeah, Iron Man, I planned it out a little bit farther. I knew that the laser beam for Iron Man, I wanted it to sort of blast out. I saw a comic book, like I saw a drawing of Iron Man where the laser wasn't just straight, like it was kind of like blasting out, but there was sort of like explosion lines coming around. So I kind of thought to myself that that could kind of turn into like the snowflake for behind Elsa, so that way from the front you see Iron Man and his laser shooting out, and like the way the glare is happening is like makes it sort of blast out like a POW kind of thing. I don't know. I don't even know if you can see my hand in the frame. I don't know what I'm cutting off. But I really wanted that lower edge to kind of like start guiding you towards like, this looks like a snowflake. So you'll see in the next video or the next section that I've got like snowflakes behind Elsa. And the way that this blast looks, if you're looking at just the Hulk, or like some of the snowflakes behind Elsa, you'll see in the next video, they kind of look like maybe like shattered, either shattered ice, shattered glass. So like these ones, I kind of went for more of a crackly, like light thing coming from Iron Man. And I wanted it to look sort of like a snowflake, but also kind of like something that the Hulk smashed, and maybe there's like a circle, like there's a dent kind of thing. And there's a lot going on. I'm a little bit weird, but I don't think the tattoo's weird. I'm not very good at describing things. You should have seen me trying to describe it to my client. He's like, is it gonna look like this? And I'm like, it's gonna be like this. And I just feel like I'm not very good at describing things, because I feel like I understand it in my head, but I'm not sure what I'm not explaining properly to the client sometimes. So that's why I tend to like over explain, because I want to make sure, I feel like I tend to ramble. Exhibit A. I want to make sure that like everything's being comprehended like as much as possible. But so like I found it hard to describe what I was doing with this snowflake thing. He's like, is it gonna look like it's coming from his hand? My sketch was like covering his whole hand, so it was, I could see how it's alarming. My sketches can be a little sloppy sometimes, but I know what I meant kind of thing. But yeah, so this one, This whole leg sleeve I'm doing just like I did the Hulk. I looked, did I look back? I think I just recalled, I don't freaking remember. I might have said the wrong thing for the Hulk whenever I did that, because I'm pretty positive I did a Bug Pen 18 round liner for the Hulk outline, those thick outlines. So it's Bug Pen, but it's 18, so it's pretty bold. So I'm just doing for the big outer line for all of them, like under the face, like all the things popping out. All of those I did with a Bug Pen 18, just to get that bold line. And that's just what I had. Like, I would probably do a standard. A standard liner might be better, but I don't feel like one's necessarily better than the other. But I did a Bug Pen 18 round liner. And then I think for all of them, I just jumped in with a Bug Pen 5 round liner. All of them so far. I think Elsa, I used the Bug Pen 3 just because her face is a little bit like smaller details or like finer details. But these like comic book looking dudes, I'm like, they'll be fine with just like thicker outlines. But Elsa's not really a comic book character, so it's like a little bit of a challenge to like mesh the styles. Even the reference I was using for Iron Man wasn't like straight off a comic book, so I sort of like turned it into a comic booky style. Like my style's not super like comic book, but obviously most of these characters are more comic book like, so I figured we could just go with a more obvious tattoo style with the bold outlines, a little bit more comic booky, and just translate Elsa to blend in with them and like my reference for Iron Man. Just make it into like a homogeneous like world or something. But yeah, so I just did the thicker lines and then the thinner lines for the details and like the shapes and the forms like on the body. You know, you just get the shapes where they can be. For this one, I don't know if you saw, like, I don't know if the Sharpie marker was in. I should have been paying attention to the video. I don't know if I drew with the Sharpie on here, but I did the stencil of the basic shape of the rays. And then I went in with a Sharpie to refine the shapes of like the snowflake parts of the rays, like where is that going to lay in relation to where Elsa will be. And then I did the shape because I wanted to make sure the shape was going to lay like pretty nicely on the front of his knee. So I used a Sharpie to sort of like outline that shape, make sure it was sort of going to be the flow that I wanted coming from Elsa. That's why I kind of had to plan most of it out as I went, but it's kind of a lot to design a whole leg sleeve in one night. And I'm not one to work on things for like weeks and weeks. It's just not me. Or at least like before a tattoo appointment. It depends what it is, really. Like, I'm trying to change the way I like approach tattoo appointments, so we'll see how it keeps up. But yeah, so, and then I did the Sharpie with the like lightning bolts. I wanted him to be like in a dramatic scene. You know, the lightning bolts are probably going to be coming towards the Hulk, and I felt like the lightning bolts also look like cracks, so we're going to have something behind Captain America. It's going to be it's going to be like, you could probably look at this tattoo when it's done a bunch of times and see something you didn't necessarily see before every single time, but without there being like, I don't know, I tend to go for like details, but without there being like too much like super fine details, but it's just like popping with color, saturation. In this tattoo, I didn't do the background behind Iron Man's hand because we were gonna do Elsa a week later. We ended up doing it 2 weeks later, but I didn't know where I was going to end with like Elsa's hand and where all that was going to end, so I didn't want to put anything final when I didn't have her lines final. It just makes me feel more comfortable, and you know, this was kind of a rough spot, so it's not like we were trying to go longer than like the 5 hours or however long we ended up sitting for this one. I feel like most of these appointments have been like about 4 or 5 hours of like tattoo time anyway, which seems to be pretty typical for me. Like that's like a full day session, and it's like maybe a little less than a full day session, like slightly less. But it's definitely the type of stuff that I would love to do more stuff like this. But yeah, so I did those lines. I'm going all over the place. I can't help it. I'm just crazy. But then for the ray, I didn't want a black outline for the like ray coming off of his like chest or his hand. So I did go in with nice blue, and I believe I used a standard 7 liner. Just because I like standards because it holds a little bit more ink, so you can get a little bit more pigment going into the skin as you go. Sometimes I feel like bug pens, especially for color that has a harder time flowing, it's just not so good. So like a little bit of gaps will bring more ink into the skin, and I just like quickly outlined it. I figured we might play around with the edges a little bit once I do the background. It'll be similar to the sky on his background, but then it's going to merge into like Elsa's background, which is a little bit more blue, and Iron Man's background has a little bit of green tones in it. So I wanted to make sure they blend well together. So I just sort of, I don't know, kept it separate. So his background does have a lot of blue in it, but I do have some deeper green tones. I initially laid in the stipple, like the peppery shading, with the Bug Pen 5 round liner, just like I did with the Hulk, just so all of these tattoos have the same sort of like texture in them. Like it's not necessarily smooth shading, but it's not necessarily like black with a mag that's like super solid, but it still has that punch and that edge. That way you still get the shines and the highlights and the deep shadows without it necessarily being like very, very dark. Now for the sky with the lightning, I wanted that to be very dark. Like I wanted there to be an edge. Elsa's snow wind is going to be flying around Iron Man, so it's going to look really cool with like wind coming around him. So I'm definitely excited to finish working on this one. We're getting towards the end. I think I'm just shading just the black here. I think I stipple shaded the black to make sure I could keep the edges of the lightning to give that a texture that will show through of any of the blues or the greens that I'm using for the background. And I'm just sort of like lightly going in with the black, giving a more distinct edge, like a darker edge, like right up against Iron Man and like some of the edges, but letting there be a little bit more of a skin break towards the middle of like the sections around can't talk, the sections around the lightning bolt. Because, you know, if a lightning bolt is shiny, like it's light, it needs the dark, because otherwise the light's not going to look so light. So that's why behind his laser hand is going to be pretty dark, mostly black, kind of like a deep dark blue, green, going towards to more blue as you go lower towards where Elsa is, because she's got the blue, she's got wintry backgrounds. And I thought the green would be good contrast for Iron Man, because he's all red and stuff. Yeah. But yeah, now that I'm choking on my throat because I've been talking for so long. Oh my gosh. I'm so weird. But yeah, then I just punched in the black wherever it needed. And I was pretty happy with the line work for this one. Definitely come back for the next video. The next tattoo talk through, where I am tattooing the color for Iron Man. And then don't forget to stay tuned for the Elsa tattoo and the Captain America tattoo that is sure to come next, that I haven't done yet, but Elsa's definitely coming next. I got a video. Let's see, anything else? Don't forget to comment down below. Let me know what you think of this video. Let me know what you think of the tattoo. I would appreciate constructive criticism only, or like anything nice to say. Like I said, no hate to my clients, and preferably no hate to me, but I don't know, I gotta protect my clients. I don't know why I keep talking about it as if anyone's even said anything bad, but I know it'll happen one day. It'll happen one day. So this way I'm already saying it. Anyway, I'm being so weird. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what types of characters or designs you'd like to see next. If you'd like to get a tattoo by me, head to chromaticsauce.com, fill out a booking form. Excuse me. And check out my Instagram at Chromatic Sauce, and give me a follow and see more of my current work as I do it, even though I'm bad at posting.